Okay, so let's take a closer look at the Batman from Hot Toys. It's a pretty solid figure in my opinion. I like the intricacy of the suit. The suit is very detailed, especially with the gloves and the metal parts on it. The spikes aren't as hard as other Batman figures, so I won't hurt myself. Same thing on the other hand. The belt has some really great detail as well. When we turn the figure around, you see the great detail in the back. The padding on it has great designs, all the way to the pouch. Small pouches on the belt, and the buckle is made out of plastic. There's padding on the legs, plastic boots, not one piece. The feet can be moved on the ball joint and feels very sturdy. The boots do have some weathering to it and give it that extra realism. It's a good range of motion. And then you have the cape, which doesn't feel very high quality. And that's the first thing I noticed when I opened the box, that it didn't feel premium. The cape does have wires inside, so you can put it in different shapes. The arms have limited range of motion, and they won't go up that high because of the shoulder pads. There's almost zero range of motion in the center. The legs, they can move around, but he won't be doing any yoga-like poses. I don't have the inner version of this figure, so unfortunately I won't be able to compare it, but I am satisfied with the quality of this one. Let's take a closer look at the heads. They're attached via magnets. There's a good paint scheme here on the face, a little stubble from his beard. When looking from below, you can see his nose. The eyes, which can be moved with the tool or with your fingers, but use the tool. Great paint and detail on the face. I've heard comments that say that the head is a little too bubbly-like or too round. I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. In my opinion, it's not something major. Now, let's switch the heads and look at the unmasked one. Mr. Robert Pattinson, aka Edward, aka Cedric. He has the dark eye makeup, which makes it seem pretty realistic. Really good paint job as well, and the 5 o'clock shadow. The hair is sculpted here, not rooted hair. And you can switch to the emo type of hair if you like. It's all held by magnets as well. You can move the eyes here too, with the same tool. With the Batman head, you can switch the faceplates. You have the serious look, you have the struggling look, I think, and you have the very angry look before he claims he is vengeance. Just make sure that it goes properly into the mask. Again, both heads have movable eyes, which is a plus. Now here's the Bruce Wayne head on the Batman body, without the cape. A solid figure, all in all. So one of the first things I want to mention is the neck piece. It's too close to the skin, rubbing against the paint, and making it difficult to move the head around. Now, you do have alternatives. You can buy a different type of neck from 16kit.com or another third-party vendor, but it's $60, at least the 1/16 kit, and I shouldn't have to spend that. Hot Toys. Another thing, the cape. I mentioned before, it feels cheap, mainly because I've seen the other capes on the other Batman figures. It doesn't feel hefty. It has no weight. Something else. We're repeating the same mistake we did with Batman from the Dark Knight. The whole thing of attaching the head with a magnet. I don't know. It gives you good range of motion, and that's great and fantastic, but if you move the figure, the head is wobbly because nothing else is holding it down, only the magnet. It's strong enough to hold it in place, but if you move the figure, the head is going to move as well. And if you live in a home where your detail can suffer from shakes, keep that in mind. I'm also a bit scared of the Bruce Wayne head. When you set it on the body, you really have to push hard to make sure it clicks in the joint. It's kind of scary. I wish they would have made the neck a bit longer. You can't put the Bruce Wayne head in with the cape because it looks like he's shrugging. Shrug action Batman. So what does the Batman come with? He comes with a cowl with no face on it for him to hold and look at longingly. You also have an additional 3 pairs of hands for a total of 9 hands. It's an odd number, so don't worry thinking you lost one, which is what I did. The hands have good details on them. Each glove has a little silver pin on the tip of the fingers. Really nicely done. You also have the guns for the grappling hooks. They attach to the sides of his wrists with the grapples, and you attach each one. There's a long one and a short one as well. You also have the 2 batarangs. There's one that's open and there's one that's in the folding position. I think that's the one you're supposed to throw. They're both made out of metal. You also have the handcuffs, which are made out of plastic. They fold and they do open. I wouldn't do too much with these though, because they are made out of plastic. They may break. You also have these metal rods. I think this is what he used to beat the crap out of the criminals in the first few minutes of the film. You also have these 2 rods as well. I'm not sure what they were. You will have to let me know in the comments, but they're made out of plastic. So are the other rods as well. They're all made out of plastic. You also have the tool for the eyes, which all the Hot Toys figures tend to come with. You also have the card that the Riddler sends with his first riddle in the movie. I'm going to leave it in the back. I'm not going to use it. We also have another cape with more wires inside of it, so you can give it more of a shape. I think in the instructions they said this is for the bicycle if you have it. Still the same quality as the other cape. That hasn't changed. You also have the base, which is pretty nice. Nothing special about it. Has a name on it and a good paint scheme. Right off the bat, pun, hi-oh! I very much like this sculpt. I think it very much represents Mr. Patterson's look. Now, when you compare it to the in-art version, make sure you're looking at actual reviews and not the promo pics from in-art. I actually prefer Hot Toys likeness. Call me crazy, because I am. Of course, in-art does have the rooted version, and it's also a lot pricier. I give this a 9. The neck piece having a bad design, along with the cheap cape, really hurts me. Thankfully, we can buy third-party options, but we shouldn't have to. Come on. This gets a 7 from me. The more bougie version includes the motorcycle, the inner one includes another Bruce Wayne and the Bat Signal. Nice extras, but extras, and not necessities. The accessories here, in my third-rate opinion, are perfect. I asked myself, is there something I wish they had included that they didn't? And I cannot think of anything. Do you? Let me know in the comments. This gets a 10 from me. Ooh, is this worth the price of admission? At $300, not including shipping and handling or taxes, I'm having a tough time saying yes. Only because they could have given us a bit more quality in the product. Again, I bring up the neck piece and the cape. If those 2 things have been perfect, then yes, $300 I think is a fair price. Not amazing, but fair. But the way the figure is, and maybe us having to buy third-party options, I would say $250 is more reasonable. This gets an 8. I want you to know how difficult it is for me to be judgy of Batman figures. I love the character, and I've been trying to collect every iteration of him, and I think I've come very close. It's not a horrible figure, nor is it a perfect figure, unless you're a huge Batman fan. If you're not, it's a great figure. I really do think this will look amazing in anyone's collection, and recommend it. Since I don't have the inner version, I can't talk about it, so you'd have to decide what works best for you. All in all, the Batman from Hot Toys gets a solid 8.5. Well, another review in the can. Thank you for watching. If you have any feedback or criticism, or you just want to yell at me, please leave it in the comments. I always try to make sure that I answer them. Thanks again. Until the next one.